Now I know this may be seen as blasphemy, and immediately make you want to stop watching this video forever. But I have a deep, dark secret that may end my YouTube career forever. I actually really like Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, okay, before I get crucified, I played it way after release, so all the bugs had been fixed. It was also one of the first open world games I ever played, and god damn it, this game is amazing. The parkour, the stealth, all the weapons and customizations, it all felt so nice, especially with friends. Playing the multiplayer of this game was downright one of my favorite multiplayer experiences ever. You and your friends sneaking into a palace to steal paintings, unlocking all the skins, that stupid super long map-wide riddle puzzle to unlock a skin, the insane detail on the map, it felt so good to play. If I had to rate it, I would have rated it a 9 out of 10 masterpiece. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, because after I became an Assassin's Creed fan, I decided I would play the other games. So I decided to play Assassin's Creed 2, which everyone says is one of the best. And it feels like a one-for-one downgrade of Unity. I say, okay, surely this isn't for every game. So I play Black Flag, which some people consider the best game in the series. It is a one-for-one copy of Assassin's Creed 2, except for some ship stuff. These games are more formulaic than Pokemon games. Now, why am I even talking about all this? Well, keep watching and find out. This is why all games feel the same. Now, let's set a little bit of groundwork for this video so that every single video game fan doesn't murder me. I am talking strictly about AAA games and games with higher budgets. Now, I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way, but a lot of games between like 2015 to 2020 felt incredibly similar. Not just Ubisoft making an Assassin's Creed game exactly the same every time, but it felt like there was always one style of game that every AAA game tried to copy at one time. Be it the open world boom, the battle royale boom, or the we must make a Breath of the Wild clone boom. It became an endless factory of reprinting the exact same game over and over again. It's like every time anything even remotely new happened from a AAA studio, every other one would immediately latch onto it. So it just became a game of which devs would actually try something new at the risk of wasting millions of dollars. Now, I'm going to break down the reasons I think this happens into different parts. So, number 1, increasing game costs lead to less creative freedom. Now, I don't think you have to be Einstein, but you are if you like and subscribe, to look at the absolutely nuts cost of AAA games these days compared to before to go, that's a lot of money to lose. So naturally, this leads to an increase in management messing with the teams, leading to less creativity, cause hey, why make anything remotely new when copy-pasted open-world Breath of the Wild clone is sure to make money? Now, I could make a whole video on this, but this also leads to a lot tighter deadlines, because with a lot more money on the line, there's a lot more pressure from shareholders and the like to make back the investment in these games faster. That's what causes these games to have insane bugs and glitches on launch. This and the rise of being able to patch a game after launch made it so that actually having a finished product became very low on the priority list. This is also why older games had very little bugs and glitches, because there is absolutely no way to fix your game after launch. So no matter how much any shareholder wanted a game out, it would be very easy to show them why they should take more time. But now it's just like, what? It's barely playable at all. Let's release the game anyways. I'm sure no one will care. What? It's getting absolutely dumpstered by everyone? Quick, release a roadmap telling people that we will fix it in 2 years. Now, I know you're probably saying, what does a couple bugs have to do with games being generic copy-paste? Well, my probably ignoramously unsubscribed friend, it helps to show a recent lack of any real interest in making a good game. Like, think about it. If a studio can't even put out a properly working game, you expect them to make a good game? Now on to number 2. Now, as we just clearly specified, most of the reason this happens is because of insanely high costs leading to little to zero creative freedom. So, what is the insanely complex solution to this problem plaguing a billion-dollar industry, you may ask? Just make some games with less budget. basically AA games. Now, you may be thinking, Hussein, you absolute buffoon! If it was that easy, why isn't it being done? That doesn't fix any of the problems you stated above. Surely all the games with less budget release broken and buggy and generic like all the rest. Well, you sure got me there. Guess I gotta end the video. Oh well. I'm leaving now. Not you absolute idiot! Why would I make a claim without backing it up? Who do you think I am, a Twitter user? So let's take a quick look at a game made with around $4 million that, you probably never heard of. It Takes Two, which won Game of the Year, beating out Resident Evil Village and Deathloop to win Game of the Year. And obviously you could say, that means nothing. Who cares it won Game of the Year? That doesn't mean sales. It sold over 10 million copies. But surely this is a fluke. This is the only case it's happened. Literally just this year, arguably one of the best games of the year so far, Hi-Fi Rush released. Now, I do not have concrete budget numbers for this game, but considering they released it on the exact same day they announced it, I highly doubt Xbox would have cared that much if it had flopped. Now, if I may say, not only were these two games very polished, but also incredibly original. It Takes Two requires two people to play as a platformer focused on teamwork. Hi-Fi Rush is an action game like Devil May Cry, except you have to time your attacks to music beats and has assists and a highly polished cartoon aesthetic. You see what I'm getting at? People are their most creative when they have limits. If you have a mega game with a limitless budget, it can lead to a lot of messing around, because if you accidentally mess one thing up, it can sink an entire company. But with these smaller games with only a couple million in budget, they have more creative freedom with their game's direction. So what's the biggest problem with these games, you ask? For the most part, developers later found out that it is really, really hard to market a good game that has really unique gameplay. In fact, the more generic the gameplay, the better, because then you already know how to market it the best. Because how can you show unique game feel in a trailer? However, you can market a CGI cutscene that usually doesn't exist, because that can farm pre-orders. You can lie about what's in the game, what's not, and guess what's the best part? By the time people find out your game is absolutely ass, you already sold 13 million copies. So can you guess what's the result of this revelation of marketing? You only have two kinds of games: indie games with usually less than 1 million to literally no budget, but the team is super passionate, or mega budget games that always release broken and blander than ever. But there is some hope left though. With the current releases of such games like It Takes Two and Hi-Fi Rush recently, and with how people are becoming a little bit more cautious of deceptive marketing of these AAA games and how they usually release buggy, I genuinely hope this sends a signal to more developers to maybe release 1 or 2 AAA games every 2 to 3 years, and more smaller budget games with more originality. Now, this all goes down the drain once I talk about a company like From Software or Capcom though, because however few there are still some AAA game companies that have been able to consistently put out quality so far. But even so, if you look at arguably one of the best games of the decade, Elden Ring, it sold amazingly, selling 20 million copies in 1 year. Now that's amazing. Wow, 20 million. Now let's look at Hogwarts Legacy, which is a basic open world game with a Harry Potter coding. It sold 12 million. Okay, still less than Elden Ring in the first 2 weeks. So right now it feels like the industry is at a tipping point of will it get more original or more corporatized? Only time will tell, and I hope that you all will join me in hoping that it's the former. And thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next one.